Good morning, dreamers. I guess it's a little later than normal. I was about to look at my phone to see what time it was, but I'm using that right now. Um, yeah, it's a little bit later, partly because I had to sleep and I had a call, and I'm still kind of like coming out of, I don't know, yesterday was draining in the best way. Um, because who you see before you now is now officially a full-time entrepreneur, and that's starting to set in, and it's a little bit scary. But I do still just feel good about it, and I don't feel like I'm in a desperate place, which is always great. Um, so yeah, I'm just kind of here, um, and so I think this stewardship conversation is actually like really good for today. Um, and because of that, I think it's so to me, I like to characterize stewardship as encompassing more than just the money. The prayer today focused mostly on the money piece, but because it's a matter of stewardship is kind of why I made the decision to leave my job. If you haven't read Essentialism by Greg McKeown, something like that. It's McKeown. It's spelled weird. Search Essentialism book. It's fantastic, and reading it really set in this like stewardship mentality for me, because I believe that stewardship comes down to three things: time, talent, and treasure. So that's the money piece. But I think that we are given gifts and we're meant to be stewards of more than just that. And so I believe it's about ourselves, our time, our talent, our money, even our energy and resources. So all of that kind of goes into stewardship in my definition. And it's actually one of the core values of my business is this idea of stewardship and helping each other work at their highest capacities by using their gifts and then releasing the other stuff that you're not great at so that you can still serve but also have that piece happen. And yes, that usually does happen like money, right? Like, I came to the realization that in order for me to serve at my highest capacity in my businesses, I needed to start doing them full time. I needed to be able to devote attention and time and detail in a way that I wasn't able to before. And God just made it abundantly clear every step of the way that I was doing the right thing. And it wasn't that I wasn't balancing them all, because I was, sometimes poorly, but I was balancing them in my schedule. I was mostly mentally and energetically balanced, like had enough energy, but it wasn't always the best use of me. And so in that way, I wasn't doing my best at either. Like, I was a little bit hampered in both, and that's not how God wants us to do things, right? Like, He wants us to do things with excellence, and I wasn't able to do that. Like, I have a friend who says if it's Christian, it needs to be better, because we hold ourselves to a higher standard than the world does. So whether that's art or your business or your ministry, it all needs to be held at a higher standard than the world would put on us. And I wasn't able to perform to that standard before. Praying that now that I have time and energy that I will be able to perform at that standard, but you just don't know. So yeah, here we are, and I'm here, and I'm doing this now, and that's why I really love that this stewardship conversation happened, because even this morning I was speaking with someone, and they just weren't sure what the best direction was for them or for their money and for what they were looking for, and the best thing that you can do is to find something that balances you, right? That takes where you are able to perform best and you invest in that so that it comes and makes you a whole, complete package. And that's really what stewardship is meant to do. What money, I think, is meant for us to use. And so I really liked, well, I say this every time, I like all the prayer. But I like that it says Thank you for the abundance you have placed in my hands, which we are all abundantly rich, whether we feel like it or not. May I always view everything in my life as a gift from you that is simply to be managed for your kingdom. It is not my own, it is yours. My prayer is that I would operate as a faithful steward with open hands that are ready to receive and ready to give. And I think that's important, that stewardship works in both ways, right? We have to be ready to receive from God, from other people, because if we're not, then we won't have that balance. But we also have to be ready to give, and it's when we give that we have open hands in order to receive. So I think, and that's why like generosity is also like a big thing, which I think I wrap into the stewardship piece because, and we'll talk about money mindset next week, which I'm really excited about. But it's one of those things where like the more you give, the more you're able to receive. Like, I was saying that I want, X number of clients, right? But I didn't have time for that. I needed to create the space for that. And that's what leaving my job has enabled me to do, and has enabled me then to receive people, to receive money, to receive those things that I had not been able to before because I wasn't at my capacity to do so. But I also like that it says stuff will fade, but you are forever. That's huge. Like when people come over to my house, sometimes like their kids are here and they're running around and they're, worried about spilling stuff. I'm like, it's okay. Like, my stuff isn't important. You're important. So just putting proper perspective on what is and isn't. Help me maintain a proper view of money. It is a tool that is used for your kingdom and for my provision. So it's not a bad thing, but it's also not your savior, right? And it says, give me wisdom and self-discipline to always use my money for the good of your kingdom. Oh, that I would spend in wisdom and not on impulse, that I would save for opportunities that I cannot yet see, and that I would give generously in order to expand your purposes here on earth. One of the things that I hadn't thought of was that I would save for opportunities that I cannot yet see. That was new for me. I hadn't heard that, and I don't know why it just hit me really fresh. To do so, I guess because I've sort of been like operating month to month, like time per time, just sort of getting through everything, but not saving in my business for new investment opportunities. I sort of like look at those from what I did last year, and when you're budgeting, you just don't always think about new stuff. But that's really interesting to me. That God alone has the ability to create wealth, and that we would be a mighty force for his kingdom. And one quote that I love, I want to say it's from the founder or president or something of World Vision, and he used to say something like, oh, that we would give recklessly of ourselves as God gave recklessly of his son. And while I don't think that God gave recklessly, obviously, but he gave without abandon, right? He gave without, he wasn't worried about it. He was saddened, he had emotion. He had love, deep love, but he didn't hold on to it selfishly. And I think sometimes we think that we are being good stewards by not investing, by doing things ourselves, and really that's almost like a selfish need of the money, when you could be doing better yourself by investing it in help from another person, and B, that blesses that other person, and it creates that community, right? We've talked about how the economy that God created is one that we depend on one another, and we need to do business in community because we all have different skills and talents and things to bring to the table. And it's just one of those things where we really get stuck and we struggle and we have a hard time. And so I think if we looked at money as not just a thing that comes in and out, right, but as something that can genuinely bless somebody else in a way that also blesses us, for me, that was kind of a game changer. What if I could spend I spend $200 a month on my VA, and the mental space that creates has been incredible. For her to work 5 hours a week that's 5 hours a week of work that I don't have to do, and that's 5 hours a week of work that she is happy to do. And then I'm blessing her. She's getting to pay off her debt because that's what she's using it for, every month. And I get that mental space and the ability to show up better and even prepare ahead. Like, it sort of holds me accountable in that way. And so I'm happy to send that money every month. You know, I'm happy to send that off because it has blessed me so much. And so consider those things that could be sort of those blocks for you, those things that you're holding on to, and what that looks like, to bless. And then I loved the verse. It's like the weird one in here, the Proverbs 27:23. Know well the conditions of your flocks and give attention to your herds. So knowing well your business and yourself and where you can be investing to perform at your highest capacity, but also to give someone else the ability to perform in theirs. And that's such a gift, you guys, that we get to do that. And just remembering that stewardship applies to time, talent, treasure, energy, all of those things that you need in your life. So it's a full picture, right? Like, what are the gifts that you need to be leaning into? What are the things that you're not great at that you need to step back and go, you know what? Maybe this is where I need to financially be. And it's scary. Don't get me wrong. Like, it took me 3 years of working on the side of my thing to get to the point that I was ready for more. And maybe for you that won't take long. Maybe you don't have that long, because this is it for you, and that's awesome. And I'm totally rooting you on in that. And so I just want you to consider, though, like, it's not silly that your business can grow fast. Like, it's true, it happens. It's not shameful to, like, want money, because that's how we learn and grow and how we are able to do what we do and give to other people. It is a chief resource for business. And so I think we need to have that perspective and start seeing money not as a thing to accumulate and hold on to, but a thing to let flow through us as God wills and as God would want us to use and perform our best. And I think that's really at the heart of stewardship, is how will we let what is God's resource all along, money, flow through, in and out of us in a way that nurtures us and nurtures other people. And that's really what stewardship is all about. Also, just wanted to say thank you guys for giving me a day yesterday as I just sort of transitioned out and all of my job and into this on a Saturday, and just that I felt so loved from every direction. And so I really, really, really appreciate that. To be getting so much love and joy and tears and sweet times from here at my work as I was leaving, but also to have all that love and prayer and encouragement coming from you all just gave me such joy and confidence in where God is taking me in this endeavor, and how we are all stepping into our leadership, whatever that looks like for us and our businesses. And that I'm so grateful that you are here and in this community, and that I get to be a part of your life and your journey in this business that you're doing. And make no mistake, a lot of this is because God has uniquely positioned all of us to work together, for me to be here to serve you, and for you to be there to be served, and to encourage and support. And so I'm just really grateful that you all heard that call and obeyed and joined us here. Whether you knew that's what you're doing or not, you definitely are. So thank you for that. And I will talk to you tomorrow when we talk success and failure, I believe is what it is. Yep. Which will be fun and scary. Like every day. Okay. I will talk to you guys then.